We're now joined in studio by founder of the Children of Fire NGO, Bronwen Jones, and burn survivor Edwin Maimela. Good evening to the both of you. Thank you for making time to be with us for this important issue.
Thank you.
Particularly with the onset of winter and then sort of the patterns and trends that you're observing. Bronwen, perhaps you could tell us about the realities on the ground. What's been observed as we edge closer to the winter season, and people obviously trying to keep warm, but the dangers that are before them.
Well, we've been doing this for 30 years.
Yep.
And really the number of burns injuries don't decrease, just the causes change.
Okay.
So 30 years ago we didn't have load shedding, now we do. People typically, they would have a 2-plate stove.
Yes.
And they'd be cooking their supper, then the electricity cuts, they reach in the cupboard, they take out the paraffin stove, they put it on top because the space is limited, especially if you're in a shack or an RDP house. They light it, they cook their meal, turn that off, go to sleep. In the middle of the night, the electricity comes back on and the stove explodes because it's heated underneath.
Yeah.
So that's one of the causes of injury. With in winter, the injuries are always more. But another major cause of injury is leaving children alone. So when Edwin was 4 years old, he was his mother was at work, a neighbour was keeping an eye on him, and this is part of your story, isn't it?
Yeah, Edwin, thank you for also being part of this chat. Perhaps you could, rehash, if it's not too personal, what transpired in your sense, in your situation, and what are the lessons learned, for people that want to learn what not to do so that they can stay safe as well.
Oh, yeah, I got burned when I was 4 years old, and my mother was at work. I was left with my neighbor. I saw my friend running around the street, so I asked my neighbor to go play with him. She said yes.
Okay.
We went to his house, we got in through the window, and we started lighting on the paraffin stove.
Okay.
And as we got in through the window, the curtains caught the fire, then it was hard for us to go out, but I ended up going out, so he couldn't go out because the mattress that was burning fell off his body.
Okay.
And since from then I learned not to play with fire anymore.
And I mean, you're a survivor and your story helps so many people. So when it comes to safety and the correct protocols that need to be put in place, what are some of those do's and don'ts that you would advocate for?
Not sure, because
to stay safe.
Just to stay safe, because there's many things that can cause fire, especially now in winter, because everyone would like to keep warm. And
Yes. Bronwen, do you want to weigh in on what Edwin has just echoed, and perhaps look at how we can empower people with the necessary tools? What are some of those safety protocols?
I think one of the biggest things is do not leave your children alone. And if you're employing someone and you know they have children, ask them, who's looking after your children? Are they safe? Then keep things like matches out of the way of children, and teach them, buy them torches instead of candles for when the power is out.
Okay.
It's a simple thing. There's so many different versions of torches out there, or little battery operated lights. They're just safer. And if people have candles, there are various strange devices like this one you can fill with water, and the candle always floats to the same height. If it goes over, then the water will put the flame out. If people are using hot water bottles to stay warm, they should read the instructions.
Yes.
Don't put absolute boiling water in there, let it cool a bit, squeeze the extra air out.
Yes.
And preferably have a cover on so the child doesn't get burnt at the edge.
Yeah.
So we understand these are much cheaper to use than other forms of heating. What people quite often do, they say there's 2 men sharing a shack, they've got a mattress each on the floor, and they're cold. They turn on the 2-plate, they put it between the mattresses, they fall asleep, and then the mattress catches fire. So don't leave things on. I also thought it would be useful to try and explain to your viewers that if you don't keep your children safe, and the old people, and if you don't think about exits and fire blankets for the kitchen and so on, then your children will come to me. And then I will be doing things like sourcing prosthetic ears or noses for them. It is not comfortable to spend your life living with a stick-on nose or a stick-on ear. So if you are burned and you're in a first world country, this was from a woman who was in the Paddington railway fire in the UK, then they'll make you a mask and they'll hold it on your face for the best part of a year to try and ease the scars. These medical procedures are incredibly expensive and debilitating. They make you miserable, you look different, you struggle to get a job. If you're wearing splints to try and get your hand into the proper shape, it's not just once off, it's week after week and month after month.
And how long does recovery also look like in reality, given the severity of the burns?
My first child, she was burned when she was 6 months old. She's 31 now, and she still needs more surgery. Wow. She's had 45 major operations. A common problem is people not understanding that when your skin is too tight around your burned digits, then your fingers won't grow properly, or your arm won't grow properly. So people don't get treatment quickly enough, they don't get good enough treatment, they don't keep going back, because they don't have money for transport sometimes. Yeah. And there aren't enough surgeons. So it's a massive problem. To fix a badly burned child can cost 1 million, 2 million or more, and that money's really not there. So I would say, please don't leave your children alone. Please turn everything off at night, blow your candles out, and better put on lots and lots of layers of clothes rather than use heating devices with people who can't look after them.
Edwin, let me bring you back into the conversation, because the recovery process that you had to undergo, what did that look like for you? Are you fully recovered? What's your life also then been like in terms of, you know, choices and in your life and quality experience, given what's happened to you and how you've chosen to move on?
Chosen to move on to not what people like, to not take what people say to mind, because it happened, nothing can change, and I've lived like this for half of my 2 decades, so just quite used to it. But it's not easy living with burns, because there's lots of different people in the world that I get to face every day, and not all of them are used to me, and some of them react somehow. So
yeah, I mean, you can't control how they react, and it's nice that you also have got the agency to be confident in who you are. And thank you for also being brave enough and vulnerable enough to share your story and to own who you are. I wonder if we even look at education initiatives at schools and in society. Is enough being done to educate and conscientize people about these realities? What would you also like to say in terms of the public service announcement? What should people really be doing?
They need to get used to people who look different. So we're quite active on Twitter, and sometimes some media organizations have criticized us. If we put a picture of a burned child looking really happy and doing something positive, it's got like. If we put a picture up there and we criticize maybe the Department of Health or a particular hospital for not doing enough, then they come down on us like a load of bricks. And I would say, get used to people who look different, and don't say, oh, shame. Yeah, because I introduced one of our little ones. She's 6 years old, she's just starting ballet, and I walked her into this class in Emmarentia this past week, and the other perfect little girls kind of looked, and I said, good morning, I'm introducing you to a superhero, because Letty survived fire. How many people do you know who survived fire? So then they would just get past her scarring, which is not major, but then just move on. So yeah, treat people who look different as exactly the same as you, because they are.
And just in conclusion, what are the biggest challenges as an NGO that you face in relation to the work that you're obviously carrying out and support at large?
It's Well, I want to find someone to take over because I want to write the book.
Okay.
And I'm very old now, and 30 years is quite enough. But to find that person is incredibly difficult. And it's really, really hard to get the surgery the kids need because they need repeated surgery. And if you don't do it at the right time, you will leave someone with, for example, if they've got scarring around the eyes, they will have diminished eyesight or they will go blind. So I know now, after all these decades, I know how crucial it is to operate at the right time and to operate frequently. So yeah, if the Minister of Health happens to be listening, I would love him to expand the resources for burn survivors.
How do people also contact you? What's that information available on social media as we conclude?
On Twitter, we're at Children of Fire. There is an imposter out there, but you'll see who we are if you get there. And our website's www.firechildren.org.
Okay. Well, Edwin and Bronwen, thank you for your time and for helping us and empowering us with tools as well. Of course, just being joined here in studio by founder of Children of Fire NGO, Bronwen Jones, burn survivor Edwin Maimela, sharing the experiences, of course, of some of the do's and don'ts when it comes to staying safe and warm as we approach winter season once again. Again, thank you to them for joining us here at the SAWA.